Dear learners, greetings. Today I am going to talk about types and scope of statistics. So in this whole session, first of all, I will tell you how many types of statistics are there, and then I will be talking about what is the scope of statistics, why statistics is important, or what are the functions of statistics, something like that. So if you talk mainly about types of statistics, so statisticians said that there are three types of statistics: descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, and of course applied statistics. So first let me talk about descriptive statistics. What is descriptive statistics? As the name says, it's related with the description. So you have some data and you are going to organize that data, summarize that data, so that you may get a certain kind of it's easy for you to comprehend. So let me give you one example. Suppose you are a teacher and you have conducted a test of 100 marks, and in your class there are 50 students. So the 50 students, the marks which they have got, you have it with you. Now you arranged the score in ascending order, that is, you have taken lowest score first, then higher, then from lower order to higher order, you have arranged all the scores. So you have got that lowest score is 0, whereas the highest score is 80. So all the scores, that is the 50 scores, vary from 0 to 80. What does it mean? Somehow the test that you have conducted would have been difficult. Why? Because higher range the students haven't reached 90 or 100 or 98 or 93 or 99, something like that. So maximum score is 80, whereas the lowest score is 0. It means somehow it will be easy for you to comprehend that the test would have been difficult. In fact, the items would have been difficult. You will be taking some conclusion regarding the average scores. So you have counted 0 to 10, 15 students scored. 60 to 80, 5 students scored. And the remaining 35 students scored average. So only 5 students have scored between the range 60 to 80. Whereas 0 to 10, number of students is more, somehow 15, and average is it is 30. So there were total 50 students. 15 students scored between 0 to 10, 5 students scored between 60 to 80, and 30 students scored average marks. And by that way you can comprehend that definitely the test would have been difficult. Now let me give you another example. Suppose in the same class you have taken another test of 100 marks and number of students were 50. So in that test you arranged the score, and after arranging the score you got that lowest score in that test was 40 and the highest score was 99. It means what? That somehow in comparison to the first test, second test is easy because even the lowest score is 40 and students have reached up to 99. So in the previous test the highest score was 80, but in this test highest score has been 99. It shows that somehow the test is easy. So these are the descriptive statistics, that is you have some data, so you see which one is the lowest score, which one is the highest score, what is the range of the score, what is the average of the score. I mean, all these things come under the category of descriptive statistics. So as the name says, its purpose is to describe that particular data, all those things that I have mentioned, so that you may comprehend, you may come to some conclusion, you may interpret. Second statistics is known as inferential statistics, and it has been derived from the word inference. So its purpose is to draw inference about conditions that exist in a population from study of a sample drawn from the population. So let me tell you one example. So I wanted to know the level of stress that is there among the teachers. It is said that nowadays teachers are quite stressed. So I conducted one study long back. I took a sample of 615 teachers, and I applied one instrument, one tool. I created that tool myself, and through that tool I wanted to measure how much stressed teachers are. So that was known as occupational stress score. So definitely, since population was huge, my population was secondary school teachers. So definitely it was not possible to take all the teachers, secondary school teachers. I mean, they would have been in thousands or even lakhs. So only I have taken 615. So this 615 is what? Sample. And on the basis of that, I calculated their occupational stress score. And then I saw the range of the score. I calculated standard deviation of the score. I divided the teachers in two groups, male teachers and female teachers. Those teachers who are more experienced, like 20 years, 25 years experience they have. Those teachers who are younger and have less experience, like 3 years, 5 years, something like that. So on the basis of that, there were so many divisions, and finally then I compared whether male teachers are more stressed or female teachers are more stressed. So what is the standard deviation among the male group? What was the standard deviation among the female group? I mean, something like that. And by doing all those calculations, I applied so many tests. I applied analysis of variance, I applied regression analysis and all those, and after applying all those statistics, it was easy for me to conclude something about the whole population. So finally I came to the conclusion that yes, teachers are stressed. And what are the reasons for the teacher stress? So many. So mainly identified work overload, that is one reason. Poor classroom resources, that is one reason. Poor colleague relations, that was another reason. Lack of recognition in the society, that was another reason. So basically this type of statistics is known as inferential statistics, because its purpose is to draw inference by taking a sample. We don't study the whole population, because in most of the cases it is not possible to study the whole population. Whole population is huge. So we take sample, and on that sample we collect the data and we apply some statistics. So since data was collected on a small sample, but since it was a representative sample, so it's easy for us to draw the conclusion for the whole population. So this second statistics is known as inferential statistics. Then third statistics, that is known as applied statistics. So what is applied statistics? It deals with manipulation of data, and scientists, teachers, engineers, agriculturists, counselor, business persons, doctors, geologists, I mean everyone need certain kind of statistics. Everyone is engaged in manipulation of data. So let me give you one example of doctors. Doctors conduct so many experiments, particularly which drug is effective and what are the side effects of the drugs. So for that, sometimes they choose only one patient, and on that patient they administer some drugs and they see what was the situation of the patient before administering the drug and what was the situation of the patient after administering the drug, or even sometimes they take more samples and then finally they come to the conclusion that the drug that has been administered is safe or not. So similarly, geologists have lot of data regarding the soil quality, rocks, layers and plates, geographical plates, all these things. So they have the data. Business persons, they have lot of data. What would have been the capital and what the gain they have got, how much tax they have paid, how could they have saved the tax, something like that. And similarly, needless to say, counselors use statistics, engineer use statistics, particularly so far as the quality of road is concerned. So they are very much concerned about it, how many vehicles are passing every day, so what will be the life of any particular bridge, or how many times the road will sustain such heavy traffic, whether traffic is heavy or whether traffic is less, heavy vehicles are passing on that road or light vehicles are passing on that road. So by that way, similarly mechanical engineers and civil engineers and electronics engineers, all these somehow directly and indirectly use some statistics. So such type of statistics whose purpose is application in some field, which is applied by these people just to get some conclusion or somehow to come some conclusion or to draw some generalization. So that statistics is known as applied statistics. There might be other type of statistics as well, but at this level I think this knowing about these three type of statistics will be sufficient. That is descriptive statistics, inferential statistics and applied statistics. Let's come and discuss about the scope of statistics. So why statistics, this particular course has been started related to statistics, and why statistics is included almost at each undergraduate and postgraduate course in our country. So I think these points will help you in knowing the scope of statistics. So the very first scope, very basic function of the statistics, collection of the data regarding the problem under consideration. So again I would like to give you one example. So I am a teacher and I keep on doing experiments and I keep on conducting data regarding which method of teaching is better, how to ensure students achievement, if students are not able to achieve up to the mark, what's the reason for that, how they can be better prepared to qualify various competitions like CTET and others. So such type of data and such type of experiments I frequently conduct. So some days back I conducted a study. In fact, I wanted to know which method of teaching is better, and there are so many methods of teaching, but particularly after the corona the scenario has changed fastly. So now they are talking about blended learning and they are talking about online learning. And that during the corona period we were forced to close all the schools, colleges and universities, and teaching was shifted from face to face mode to online learning. So how online learning can be made effective? What are the criteria on the basis of which we can say that online teaching is effective in fact? So I conducted one such study. Definitely my research scholar collected some data, and on the basis of that data we in fact came to some conclusion that these are the criteria. If you will follow these criteria, definitely your online teaching will be better. Or what are the criteria of online teaching effectiveness? So this is a basic scope of statistics, that you collect the data, you are facing some problem, suppose, and you want to get the solution of that problem. So in order to get the solution of that problem, it will not be possible unless and until you will collect the data. So you collect the data regarding the problem under consideration. This is the first scope of statistics. Then the moment you get the data, you classify that data in the desired manner, in the same study which I am talking about. So mostly the young teachers, they were very comfortable with this online learning, I mean with app based learning, so they used Google Meet, sometimes they used this Microsoft Teams, and there are so many apps, and there are so many platforms, and they were very comfortable. But so far as seasoned teachers are concerned, experienced teachers are concerned, aged teachers are concerned, somehow they have certain kind of rigidity. So in fact, I classified the data accordingly. So after collecting the data, I saw what the score I have got from the younger people. So I kept all those score at one place. What the score I have got from seasoned teachers, I kept at one place, in another column I did the entry. Then rural teachers, again I divided, and urban teachers I divided, and then male teachers and female teachers. So the data that we collect, sometimes it is required to classify in various categories so that we may compare or we may come to some conclusion. So collecting the data is the first task, first scope of statistics, but equally important is classifying that data in various categories, or as is desired or as is required. Then comes tabulation of the data, and I am quite sure in the previous classes you have been betterly explained how to collect the data and how to organize the data and how to tabulate the data, because sometimes the obtained data is such a huge data and such a scattered data that it's very difficult for us to come to some conclusion. So in that situation, what you do, we tabulate the data, and by that tabulation, in fact, things are easy for us to come to some conclusion, or to comprehend something, or to interpret something. So in a nutshell, these are the three important scope of statistics: collection, basic type of functions of statistics, you can say: collection of the data, classification of the data, and tabulation of the data. If we move ahead, you will find there are few more scope of statistics: analysis. So collection, then classification, collection, classification, tabulation. These three scopes in the previous slide I have discussed. Now two more scopes are there, and that is analysis and interpretation. So India's population, huge population, more than 140 crore people live in India. So in the census, whenever it happens, we collect the huge data, then we classify, as per our desire, or as per our need, rural, urban, married, unmarried, male, female, something like that, and then we tabulate. And after tabulating the data, we analyze the data. So what is the median age? What is the median age? So suppose median age comes out to be 23. It means what? That by and large, in this particular population, youths are more, in fact, in comparison to the aged people. So if the median age comes out to be 45, it means, it says that somehow the youth population is less aged people are more in that particular population. And if you see the statistics, you will find that there are so many countries in which youths are less and aging population is more, and they are quite worried about it. Particularly, I am quoting here the example of Japan. So Japan's population is aging very fastly. I mean, older people are more in comparison to the youths, and somehow median age is decreasing, and that's one of the challenge to that society. So how we have come to this conclusion? That we have more number of youths, or we have less number of youths, or our population is aging, or how many percent of the people are skilled people, or sometimes we said semi-skilled people, or sometimes we say holder of professional degrees. So, all these things we come to know the moment we do the analysis. So, remember, interpretation of the data is not possible without the analysis. And how do we analyze the data? Statistics suggests so many methods of analysis, and definitely in the coming classes you will be able to know how to analyze the data and what are those methods through which we analyze the data. So many, and according to our purpose we choose any selective method of analysis. So collection of data, classification of data, tabulation of the data, analysis of the data, and interpretation of the data. So from first scope to fifth scope we have reached. Let's talk about some more scope. So comparing different facts and problems and establishing relationship between different facts. So again I am giving you one example. So I conducted one study on students' achievement and their addiction to mobile phones. So I studied achievement, I studied their mental health, and I studied their internet addiction, mobile phone addiction. So I collected the data, and this study was conducted on class 10th students. So I collected the data, I classified the data, I tabulated the data, I analyzed the data, I interpreted the data. But now I was required to come to some conclusion. I was required to give some suggestion to the policy makers, to the parents, to the teachers, to the principals. So I tried to establish relationship between these three. So more internet addiction somehow influenced negatively the mental health as well as achievement. So I came to the conclusion that internet addiction or smartphone addiction basically is negatively correlated with mental health and achievement for class 10th students. So in order to ensure good mental health of the students, in order to ensure that they are achieving properly, they are having achievement, good achievement particularly, so somehow this is required to be checked. So what I did, the problem which I studied, in fact in that problem I tried to establish relationship between different facts. And not only I did this, I compare also urban and rural students. I compared male and female students. I compared those students who live in nuclear families and those students who live in joint families. So I found that those students who lived in joint families, they have less addiction in comparison to those students who live in nuclear families. I found that by and large, the level of addiction of rural student was less in comparison to the urban students. By and large, I found that female students were less addicted in comparison to their male counterparts. So what I did, I compared various facts as well as I established relationship between various facts. So somehow statistics serve this purpose very nicely so far as comparing is concerned and so far as establishing relationship is concerned. Then sometimes we are required to examine old formulations and theories. Sometimes some policies are made by the government and the government want to check the effectiveness of those policies. The government want to check whether people are getting the fruit of those policies or not. I mean, those policies are effective or not, because with lot of hard work, these policies have been made, and lot of infrastructure has been made available, a lot of funding is there, but whether people are really benefited from that. So such type of situation. Or sometimes we have some old theory and we want to know whether this theory still is relevant or not. Or sometimes we have some old formulations and we want to know whether these formulations still hold in this era or not. So in such type of situation, that is examining old formulations and examining old theories, also we need statistics. So on the basis of statistics, that is the collection, classification, tabulation, interpretation, and of course comparing and establishing relationship, we come to some conclusion whether this theory is discarded or this theory has particular relevance, whether these formulations, old formulations, should be continued or they should be discarded, whether the policy that was made by the government is still effective or not, or is there any required change should be there or not. So now statistics has this very important scope. And definitely, if old formulations and theories are not working, they are discarded. So what we have to do? We have to come to new formulation and new theories. Anything old, irrelevant, if it is not suitable, then definitely what we have to do? So we have to find out new formulations and new theories. So not only statistics help us in examining the old formulations and theories, rather it also helps us in establishing new formulations and theories. So in a nutshell, if you see, these were the scope of statistics. So in today's session, first I explained what are the types of statistics, and on the basis of that we came to the conclusion that there are three types of statistics: descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, and applied statistics, and then 7-8 scope of statistics I presented before you. So I think it's enough for today. Thank you very much for listening to me. So I will come with some another topic. Have a great day.